I've got a surprise pick to get to the Final Four out of the Midwest region. You're going to want to stay tuned to see that. So let's get right into it. Michigan versus whoever they get in the 16 seed. It's not going to matter. Take Michigan. Georgia versus St. Louis. I think Avila is going to be the difference maker in this game. He's a 6'10 big that can shoot the three, 42% from beyond the arch, and he can also dish the basketball. His ability to facilitate and shoot will pull Georgia bigs away from the basket and allow St. Louis to be almost surgical in the half-court setting. As long as St. Louis doesn't try to get cute here and play up and down with Georgia, take the Billikens to win that one. Texas Tech versus Akron. I'm going back and forth in this one. I love taking the upset pick, but realistically, I don't think with Grant McCaslin, and as long as Christian Anderson is genuinely healthy like they say he is, I think he's just a difference maker in this game. Take the Red Raiders to get through even without JT Toppin playing. Alabama versus Hofstra. This one's very simple. Take Alabama. Tennessee versus whoever comes in the play-in game. This Tennessee team, I think, has drastically underachieved from what we thought they could be at the beginning of the year, but they've just been up and down throughout the entire course of the season. They're 2-4 in their last 6 games, but they should have the talent to deal with whatever 11 seed comes out of this Dayton region. They lost to Missouri on the road by 4, but outside of that, they haven't lost to a team outside of this tournament field since the ACC SEC Challenge, which was a 2-point loss to Syracuse. They're winning games they're supposed to win. They're losing games that you could make a case that they should lose. I think Tennessee gets through on this one. Take Vols to the round of 32. Virginia versus Wright State. Virginia will always worry me in the first round after the UMBC thing. Also, shout out to them getting into the tournament for the first time since the upset in 2018. But Virginia, you're good. Odom is the man. Take the Wahoos to get into the second round here. Kentucky versus Santa Clara. This is fun to see Pope against the WCC again. So it's just like good old times, right, Mark? But this UK team has been all over the place. Injuries, lack of offense, lack of defense, lack of heart and hustle. They've gone up and down. They've been better, I would say, in the second half of the season versus what we saw in the non-conference schedule. I think they have enough to take care of Santa Clara. Every time I've watched the Broncos, I've not been super impressed. So take Kentucky to get to the second round. Iowa State versus Tennessee State. Shout out Nolan Smith getting Tennessee State to the tournament. He's very early in his coaching career. I think he could be someone that is I think he could be a name that a lot of people keep an eye on in the next coming years. But Iowa State gets this one done. Go Cyclones there. Michigan versus St. Louis. Let's keep this one short because we're about to have an interesting take with Michigan. I think they are just too big. They're too good in the half court. They're too good in transition. If Michigan can take care of the basketball, which they should be able to against St. Louis, they'll just have too much for the Billikens to deal with. Take Michigan there. Tech versus Alabama. I think Tech without JT Toppin will finally meet their mark. Alabama could get really streaky and get hot in this tournament. I really like where Nate Oates is seated. I think he likes it as well. So take the Tide to get through the Sweet 16. Tennessee versus Virginia, the Battle of Appalachia. Look, I think Virginia is just too deep. I think Odom is the better coach, and I like how Virginia is performing as of late versus what we've seen out of Tennessee. I think they have the size to go with it. I don't think Tennessee can overwhelm the guards with their size. The only matchup I'm worried about is Nate Ament and who from Virginia is going to take on that challenge. But nonetheless, I will take the Cavaliers to get through on this one. Kentucky versus Iowa State. The only thing that worries me about Iowa State is the poor free throw shooting, but I think Kentucky's not going to be able to keep this game close enough for it to even come down to that. Take the Cyclones to win this one. Alabama versus Michigan. This will be the 1 seed to go out of the tournament first. I think what happens in this game, Alabama will shoot a ton of threes. I think Michigan will get sloppy with the basketball. They'll give Alabama these extra possessions, and we know how Nate Oates is. He's probably already calculating how many extra points per possession he can get off these Michigan turnovers. I think this actually sets up really well for Alabama. They've got size to deal with Michigan. Michigan is the better team on paper, but if they go into that game being sloppy, turning the basketball over, I could see Alabama getting up more shots, and that is not the team you want to give more possessions and more shots to. Take the Tide to upset Michigan in the Sweet 16. Iowa State versus Virginia is a really good matchup. I think it's a defensive juggernaut game we see in this one. It could be under 65 points here. I think Momcilovic is going to be the difference maker. I think Virginia has enough to deal with Ipsy as well as dealing with Josh Jefferson, but I do think Momcilovic is going to be the difference maker in this game. Take the Cyclones to get to the Elite Eight. And then Alabama versus Iowa State in the Elite Eight matchup. This is such a good basketball game. It's going to be so fun to watch. It's very different contrasting styles of play between both of these programs. Don't ask me how, just appreciate it. I'm actually going to take Alabama to get to the Final Four out of this region. So let me know what you guys think. What are your picks? Hit like, hit subscribe to your name in the portal. We'll see you guys on the next one.